All right. Hi, Anastasia. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to narrate and demonstrate my way through, I think, 3 or 4 questions. And these are the questions on the assessment that are worth the most points. So when you retake the test, um, whatever you do on the others, is fine. Still, try. But if you submit these, earning full points for these next few questions, I think will help, so that we can move on to the next quiz. Okay, so here we have Augustine is holding his breath for 90 seconds. So we have to figure out how long is 90 seconds. We have to convert from seconds to minutes. So what we know is we know that 90 seconds. Sorry, we know that there are 60 seconds, right? 60 seconds in 1 minute. So if we know that he's holding his breath for 90, we know that he's holding his breath for at least 1 minute, right? So we know that we have 1 minute, plus we have another 30 seconds, because 60 plus 30, that's 90. So he holds his breath for 1 whole minute plus another 30. And what do we know about 30? Think about it. 30 is 30 seconds out of a total of 60 seconds. Well, if you notice, 30 seconds out of 60 seconds, well, 30 is half of 60. What that means is Augustine is holding his breath for 1 minute plus another half a minute. Or we say that he's holding his breath for 1½ minutes. So 1 minute plus 1/2 of another minute. And then he does this, it looks like he does this 5 times. So this is the challenging part. Just kind of watch the process. So you take the number 5, you're going to multiply that times 1½ And there's different ways to do this. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to multiply the 5 times the 1. And when I multiply 5 times 1, I get 5. Now what I have to do is I have to go now and multiply the 5 times the 1/2. So whatever I get after I multiply 5 times 1/2, what I have to do is I have to add it to the 5 down here. So if I have 5 times 1/2, it looks like this. I'm going to change it to 5/1 times 1/2. And the reason I put the 1 in the bottom is because I know that if I divide any whole number by 1, it doesn't change. So 5 divided by 1 is still 5. 7 divided by 1 is still 7. 10 divided by 1 is still 10. So even if I put a 1 down here, it doesn't really change the 5. It's still a 5. But this way, now I have my numerators on top. I know 5 times 1 is 5, and I have my denominators on the bottom, and 1 times 2 is 2. And now that I have 5 halves, I notice that this is improper. And it's improper because the numerator is larger than the denominator. So what I have to do here is I have to go and change that back to a mixed number. And the way we do that is we go into each improper fraction and we find whole fractions. And a whole fraction means your denominator and your numerator are the same. So if my denominator is 2 or halves, if I want to make that a whole fraction, I put a 2 on the top because I have 2 out of 2. It's still a fraction, but it represents 1 whole. So I just found 2 out of 2. But I want to get all the way to 5, so I'm going to add 2 more. So I have 1 whole fraction, another whole fraction. So I have to add a little bit more. 2 plus 2 is 4, and to get 1 more, I need 5. Sorry, to get 5, I need 1 more, so I need another 1 out of 2. And this now that I've gone through and I found whole fractions, I know that 2 out of 2 represents 1 whole, so that's 1. And 2 out of 2 represents 1 whole, so that's another 1. And 1 plus 1 equals 2. And the only thing I have left over is 1/2. Now 1/2 is just a fraction, so I can't I can't trade it for a whole number. It's just 1/2. So remember what I said at the beginning. Whatever I get with this, I'm going to add this to this one right here. So I take my 5. Let me go down just a little. Oh, let me go over to the right. So I'll take my 5 and I'll add my 5 to the 2.5. 5 plus 2 is 7, and then I have 1/2. So if Augustine holds his breath for 90 seconds or 1.5 minutes, and he does it 5 times, he's going to hold it for 7.5 minutes. Yeah, 7.5. So this next one is about a young person trying to eat bread every day of the week. Daniel here, he knows he eats 2 slices of bread every weekday, Monday to Friday. So we know that Monday to Friday is the same thing as 5 days, right? So 2 slices of bread for 5 days. 2 times 5 is 10, so that's 10 slices of bread Monday to Friday. And we know that Saturday and Sunday, that's Sunday, he'll eat 4 slices of bread for both Saturday and Sunday. So that's 4 slices of bread for 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, so that's 8 slices. So throughout the week, if you add 10 plus 8, that's 18 slices of bread. And we also know that every loaf has 12 slices. So the way you look at it is the bread that he eats, right? He eats 18 slices, and there's only 12 slices for each loaf. So how many loaves of bread is that? Well, again, this is where the whole fractions come in play. Again, if you want to find a whole fraction, what you do is you rewrite your denominator, and you want to make it a whole fraction, so you write the same thing on the top. So that's 12 out of 12. And that would be 1 whole loaf, right? 12. If he eats 12 slices and there's only 12 total, he'll eat 1 whole loaf of bread. But we still have 18 slices here, so we have to add another fraction. So our denominator is still 12, but if I have 12 slices that are eaten, how many more do I need to get to 18? Well, that's 6. So I hope you see here, there's some special fractions here. The first thing we have to recognize is that if he eats 12 out of 12, that's the same thing as 1 whole loaf. And then he eats another 6 out of 12. Well, 6 out of 12 is special because 6 out of 12, or 6 is half of 12, so that's the same thing as 1.5. So every week Daniel will eat 1.5 loaves of bread. Okay? So every week Daniel eats 1.5 loaves. So they want to know how many loaves of bread does Daniel eat in 1 whole week. So he'll eat 1.5. And then it says, I'll stop the recording after this. Then it says that Daniel and his family, they're going on vacation for 6 weeks. Daniel thinks to himself, he only needs 6 loaves of bread. The problem is, I think he might need a little more because he eats 1.5 loaves every week. So we know we have 6 weeks times the 1.5 of 1.5 loaves, right? So what we do is you multiply 6 times 1. So let's multiply 6 times 1 and we get 6. Now we'll hang on to that because whatever we get when we multiply 6 times 1/2, we'll add it to the 6. So again, I just put a 1 in the denominator so I can multiply my numerators, which are 6 times 1, which is 6. 1 times 2 is 2. So now I have 6 halves, or I have 6 divided by 2. Well, let's see what that looks like. Again, we're going to find all the whole fractions that we can. My first whole fraction is 2 out of 2, so that's 1 whole. But I have to get to 6, so I'm going to add 2 more. 2 plus 2 is 4. I need 2 more to make 6. So what do we have? What's 6 divided by 2? Well, that's 1 whole, plus another whole fraction, plus another whole fraction. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. So we're going to take the 6 loaves that he eats plus the other 3, And if you take 6 plus 3, 6 plus 3 is 9. So Daniel will need 9 loaves of bread. He thinks he only needs 6, but he actually needs 9 loaves of bread if they go on vacation for 6 weeks. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here, and then I'm gonna record the last question from the assessment because it takes a little bit longer and it's a bit more involved. So I will talk to you soon.